of exactly how we go about doing these Relearn packets. The first thing is that Section A, we're going to work on it together now. So if you need to do Section A, you're going to complete it now in class. You always watch the video or do it in class with Section A. And I show you where kids went wrong and the kinds of mistakes kids made, and I show you how to do it the right way. Then, when you go home, you're going to do Section B. Okay? Do not do Section C until you show me Section B, so I can be sure that you're doing Section B the right way. I'll check it over. If there's any other mistakes, we'll talk about them. We'll correct them, and then you do Section C. And you got to do that for all of the parts of the test that you needed to improve upon. Okay? All right, so let's take a look now at Section 1, which is all about exponents. And here's the thing. Justice, you did the first Relearn packet. You improved a bunch, right? How did you do on the beginning part of your test, numbers 1 through 4? You get them all right? Yeah. See, and I'll bet you on the last test you didn't. And here's the difference, okay? She took the time to relearn it. If you look back on it, Justice, was it that hard? No, definitely not. But there was something for whatever reason you didn't understand. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect. But when you get something wrong, Ulysses, you got to say to yourself, why did I get that wrong? How can I do that the right way? And if you do that time and time and time again, you won't make those mistakes before. Now, there's still a problem with numbers 1 and 3. Now, first off, number 2, I think everybody in the room got number 2 right, or just about everybody. What is anything to the 0 power except 0 to the 0? 1. So just about every person got a 1 for that. Okay, we've covered it. We're done. Just about everybody gets that right. But we have a problem with numbers 1 and 3. And here's the issue. We have been over this many, many, many times. Jimmy, if I put 20 bucks on your desk, and I said to you, learn the difference between numbers 1 and 3, do you think you could do it for the 20 bucks? Oh, I do. I absolutely do. In fact, I am 100% positive you could do it. In fact, Jimmy, I could honestly, I could show a 4th grader and they would get it right. So you are way ahead of them. So you would get it right for sure. You just got to care enough to get it right. Have I seen you in extra help yet? Oh, don't shrug the shoulders. The answer is no. Jimmy, you're better than that. You owe it to yourself to do this. Otherwise, you're going to be 40 years old and you're going to be like, man, oh man, how did I ever get in this predicament? And you're going to say, man, I only wish I would have done it better. You know, I have my own son, Bobby. The one you saw as a sub in here, just put it on the desk, please. I'm sorry. The one you saw as a sub in here, he's Jimmy. My older son, Bobby, went to college. And in all honesty, school came easier for Bobby than it did Jimmy. And we paid for his first year through college, and then go to the back for, oh, you know what, you can come right over here. We paid for his first year of college, and he messed it up big time. And when he finally overcame the demons that were haunting him at that age of his life, he said to me, Dad, biggest mistake I ever made. He said, I should have taken it so much more seriously. And he had great grades in high school. He graduated with over a 90 average, did fantastic things. But he just didn't take it seriously. So he went from a 90 student to a failing student, not because he got dumb. He never got dumb. He was never dumb to start with. He went that way because of how his work habits were terrible. And likewise, when you guys struggle, it's not because you're dumb. It's not because you're stupid. It's not because you don't have brain power. You got plenty of that. What you got to have is willpower. You got to find a way to make it happen. All right, look, so we take a look at number 1 and number 3. First off, what's the big difference between number 1 and number 3? Go ahead. The parentheses on number 3. Otherwise, they look the same. But those parentheses make all the difference in the world. See, this squared means square what's in the parentheses. So it means -5 times -5. Now, when I multiply by a negative, the second number being the by number, I'm multiplying by the negative. Not only is it 5 times 5, which is 25, but I'm also multiplying by this negative right here. When I multiply by this negative, I have to negate whatever I started with. So if I started with a negative, what do you get when you negate a negative? A positive. So this answer is positive 25, or just 25. Yes? We'll give you the Relearn packet. You can start following along. I don't know if you'll need it or not. I have to grade your test. Okay? Now, number 1 does not say -5 times -5. Everybody say that with me, please. -5 does not say That stunk. -5 does not say. Oh, say it with a little soul. -5 does not say. Does not say. No, I want you to say -5 does not say. Go ahead. Ready? Go. -5 times -5. This means square the 5, then negate it. So what is 5 squared? Everybody? 25. Then negate it. So the answer to number 1 is -25. Jimmy, are you telling me you can't do that? You can definitely do that. For 20 bucks, you'd do that. 20 bucks? You know how much money you make over the course of your life? Make a whole lot more over the course of your life to get it right now. Number 4 is tough. Number 4 is a hard question. If you got number 4 wrong, very understandable. Now, first off, what is anything to the 0 power except 0 to the 0? 1. So the 8 to the 0 is 1. Lots of mistakes on 3 to the -2. I saw some people put a negative sign in there. There is no negative sign with a negative exponent. Let me repeat that. There is no negative sign with a negative exponent. Negative exponent? Reciprocal. So when we do this reciprocal, when we do this reciprocal here, right? In fact, you know what? That wasn't as good as it should have been. Let's try it again. Negative exponent?
Reciprocal, sir.
Very good. So this negative exponent here means 1 over 3 to the 2. It does not mean, it definitely doesn't mean any negative sign anywhere. Does anybody see a negative sign here? No. So what is 3 squared? 9. So I get 1 plus 1/9, which is 1 1/9. Okay, so we just took this test. We take the test. We show growth. We show improvement. Average score up anywhere from 10 to 15 points. That's very good. On the other side, we have an issue. We're still getting questions like numbers 1 and 3 wrong. Before we move forward to the next section, I want to ask you again, what is the importance in the parentheses of number 3? I know, you answered it before. What's the importance of the parentheses in number 3? Because it doesn't have them in number 1. Sam, where are we going with this?
In number 1, you have to negate it after you times it.
After you square it, good. And what about number 3?
You take the minus signs and you reverse those, which is...
Right, when you multiply by the negative, you're going to end up switching the sign. Okay. So, what we're dealing with here is language. We're not dealing with mathematical concepts. Every person in the room can do 5 times 5 is 25. The question is, can you interpret what they are saying to you? What they're saying here, Jimmy, square the 5, then negate it. Ulysses, the parentheses means the whole -5 times the whole -5. Okay? So you have to know the difference in each. All right. Now, let's take a look at number 12. Another challenging question. We said that number 4 was very difficult. Now we have to look at number 12. As I go through, thank you. As I go through, God bless you. As we go through and we look at number 12, this is a very typical kind of question that they'll ask on the state. And it's a process of elimination kind of question. It says, which of the following is not equivalent to 1 over 16? Talk to me about this word equivalent. Fancy word. It means a very simple thing. Go ahead. Equal to. Very good. Okay. It's not on our vocabulary core list that we have up on the board over there. I changed it up this week. We have a few different words that we're putting up there. We have to, you ready? Here we go. Adjust. What does the word adjust mean? If you make an adjustment, what are you doing? Go ahead. It's a change. And is it like a huge radical change? It's a small change, kind of like we're doing here when we look at numbers 1 and 3. We got the main point, the 25 down pat. The question is it going to be positive or negative? Now, I look over here, which of the following is not equivalent to 1 over 16? Negative exponent. So that's 1 over 4 squared. What's 4 squared, everybody? Is it 8? No, it's what?
16.
So that's 1 over 16. Well, that is equivalent to 1 over 16. It's not A. What's the rule for exponents here when we have the same base? Add them. So what's 3 plus negative 5? If I have 3 positives and 5 negatives, what do I get altogether? 2 what? I don't think I get 2 positives. Here's my list, right? Which list is longer, the negative list or the positive list? The negative. So it's going to be, oh, well, wait a minute now. This says 4 to the negative 2. That says 4. The answer's got to be the same. I don't even have to do any more work. What's the rule when we're dividing? What do I do to those exponents? Now I subtract them. Oh, jeez. It's 4 to the negative 2 again. You know, this question looked so hard when I first started looking at it. Everything's 4 to the negative 2. 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 Let's try this guy. What's 1 times 1? Oh, that's a killer. 1. 8 times 2? 16. I'm multiplying by a positive, so I keep that sign. Hey, it's supposed to equal 1/16. What does this say? Negative 1/16. Here's my answer. Okay? All right, so what we've done is we've gone over what the common mistakes were in the first section of the test. Hopefully, we don't end up repeating any of those mistakes. And those of you who need to do these relearn packets, either because you want a higher grade or because you got below a 75, then you can get that done, and they're going to be due. You know, I didn't tell you to do